What's going on, guys? Ziad here from Between the Lines. I am back after an episode of me just getting shat on and wanting to get kicked out of apparently. Uh, I'm gonna say one of the co-hosts felt betrayed a little bit. It was funny.
Yeah,
I laughed out loud. I'm not gonna lie.
you're not showing up when the team needs you.
I was
What do you
sick.
want?
What do you want me to do?
Ziad doesn't take care
I
of
didn't
his
go to
baby.
work.
Take
Uh,
injections.
Taking
Take
injections in
pills.
my throat. Pause. Nah, I can't do that.
Pause.
Right now I'm under what is it called? I am under decongested nasal spray. So this is why you can hear me very clearly. Without it,
Oh damn, man.
without
Yeah, that
it,
works.
my nose will be stuffy. But regardless, it was a great weekend in my opinion, football wise. A lot of good games this weekend that I'm honestly looking forward to talking about because both of your teams
There's
lost
nothing to
and
talk
my
about.
team won.
Yeah, but we're
So
used to that at this point, aren't we?
I mean, we're used to maybe your team, Chelsea, can take a lick and that's fine because Aston Villa win, not an easy game, but to lose to West Ham at home, oh my God!
Here we go.
And was it the first game of the? What do you mean? Here we go. It's nasty.
First game, what?
Is that the first game of the weekend? Let me
Uh,
see.
no, there was the Friday game, like
It's
Brentford.
okay. I guess if you play
No.
Gavi up front, then maybe Barca will struggle to win again.
Well, my club actually has good youth system, not like yours. But it's okay. We could start off with Arsenal West Ham because we're not even gonna talk about Everton United. No one gives a fuck. We'll talk about West Ham Arsenal. 1-0 to West Ham. And by the way, Arsenal's home. If you missed it, Lewis Kelly red. And we could even talk about that too because I saw some replays. Lewis Kelly low key got fouled. So I'm
Don't get
kind
me
of
started.
like,
Lewis Kelly deserves to get a red card, and hopefully he learns from that. Because you know what? He had this coming.
why?
Damn.
Because you're not a midfielder anymore. He does this all the time. He tries to you're the last man, and you try to like shield the ball and try to like get yourself out of that pressure. He had 3, 4 good seconds to pass the ball back to Raya. So you know what? For me, I'm like it's a deserved red. You're not a midfielder. You're a last man. Pass the ball. Release it out of your feet.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
again, I
Like,
was heated from the entire game because there was too many. I was shaking my fist kind of moments in that game.
Sorry, I had to
yeah,
get my cats out of the room. But yeah, I was seeing. But come on, objectively, what's factual is Loki. He got fouled. Before that, even him
Listen,
getting
for
him
yeah.
me,
Did he
fouling
get
someone
he
else.
got
fouled though?
himself into trouble. You had this coming because you're gonna get pressed from the back, and you can't put it in
Yeah,
you can't put it in the hands of the referee. You had 4 seconds to pass the ball.
true, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you say it like that, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But
Cause like,
Ziad,
yeah,
that's not a foul. I know what you're talking about in terms of like Did you see the slow mo one from DT
yeah,
or what?
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
slow
yeah,
mo one.
no. Like again, I think we get caught up too much on
Slow
replays
mo.
and especially slow mo
Yeah.
replays. Yeah, because that's not the pace the game's happening. Like the way that game's going, like your arm is always moving when you're running. Like it's a contact
Mm-mm.
sport at the end of the day. And Kelly's allowed to have his hand up. He didn't have it up in the right position. Kudus is a physical player. He's always gonna
He's
compete
not.
with
He's
you.
not shielding his body properly.
He's exactly. He
Yeah,
didn't put
yeah,
himself really between the ball and the player. Like he gave Kudus like an opportunity to snatch the ball, and that's what he did. Like to me, it's clean to be honest with you. And like Wasim said, Skelly does take a lot of risks, but they usually pay off to be honest. But I see him doing it at the opposition box. For him to do it when Raya was that far up at half in a must win
yeah,
game is
yeah,
just
man.
it's inexperience. It's inexperience, honestly. Like maybe you do this stuff in reserve football and you get away with it, but here you're playing
Yeah,
against Premier League players at the end of the day, and you get
yeah.
punished.
When the red card happened, I knew it was over, really. But what about before the red was seen? Like, what did you think of the game?
Listen, let me have my moment here. Let me articulate the situation that I witnessed because I had to wake up early to watch the United game just to sit through terrorism for my game. First of all, listen, me and Nanan talked about it. I said maybe we'll get a jammy 1-0 because, by the way, you saw exactly on Friday how Brentford absolutely ripped apart something called Leicester City, and how
Yeah,
Arsenal took them to the 80 minute to scrape past Leicester City. So you already know this team is about to struggle because
yeah,
there's just nothing happening up front. At the end of the day, you take out Saka, then you take out Havertz, then you take out Martinez. For me, that's the Arsenal front three. So you're already there with
yeah,
scraps. And you saw like for Moreno, the only way they used him was they're just were hoofing the ball into the
Yeah.
box. And what pissed me off the
Yeah.
most was my center backs for today wanted to become Pirlo and like Zidane. They want to just break lines. Even they want to be Busquets. The amount of time we lost the ball because the center backs and the full backs wanted to pass the ball through the middle, and we just waste like imagine wasting like 3 seconds of watching dead side to side soccer just for one of the defenders to, oh, let me try to make this through ball, lose the ball, get countered. It was
Yeah.
just hopeless.
But sadly,
By the way,
Wasim, this comes from the coach. That's the way. You
no,
guys
no,
build up.
but
Like,
but
that's what he
again,
wants
you're
you to
taking
do.
out the best players in offense. Because bear in mind, when you take out the front three that we had, there's no options. Like, listen, I can cuss out the coach for example, but like, there's just no option. By the way, this is why we can't. This is one reason why, for example, he wasn't starting 1 year early. 1 year today was like the worst. Not today, but the worst performance I've ever seen him have. By the way, he was horrendous in my book. Anyone that gives him higher than
A
4 out of
lot of
10.
people put him in.
For me, anyone that puts him 4 out of 10 is just fans that want to like have a bias because they want to shit on Odegaard, which is completely fine. But you want to bypass it. When you on the field, you should not be looking at age. At that point, you're on the field. I'm just gonna judge you based on your
Yeah,
play,
you're
and
playing.
he was
Yeah.
horrendous. Don't get me started on the left, the other side, the midget on the side. But fast forward, for me, I was triggered because we didn't score.
Fast forward.
We didn't like score regardless. At the end of the day, we didn't deserve to win because we didn't score. But the goal that we conceded, I know, like in our chat, we make
Yeah.
fun of Calafiori, and it's deserved by the way because mashallah, Wan-Bissaka just ran to the left.
It's Wan-Bissaka.
Like unstopped by the way, unbothered. But I just want you. I will cuss at then Rice, who like just casually Bowen just ran behind them, just casually. But the
Yeah.
third man, the terrorist,
Who?
the alleged rapist, Party, for the 1 millionth time. Why is he guarding air? Can I understand? He does. Wallah, he does this every other game. He is guarding air. He did this
Yeah, yeah,
against
yeah, actually,
Aston
yeah.
Villa when he just daydreamed and Ollie Watkins was just free. He does this every other game. He Rice. Okay, you know what? He didn't see behind him. Bowen ran past him. Party is seeing the entire thing. He is seeing Bowen running in. He's just
Yeah.
guarding air.
I don't understand, but what's in Party, we've always criticized, in my opinion, at least I criticized him, that he's not good enough for Arsenal.
No,
Like,
no.
at least he's a bench player
No,
at most.
he is getting sold. I don't want to see that man. Fuck it. Use that.
Is he gonna get sold though?
Use,
You guys are in a
his
situation where.
contract is expiring unless we renew it. He's literally going to be done in the summer.
But my point with that is that because you guys you don't have the luxury of being like, oh, let's sell him and we have someone else to come off the
anyone,
bench.
dog. He's a liability. That was disgusting. You can cuss at Calafiori. I'll give
Yeah.
him 40% of the blame on that goal. Rice always stinks up against
Yeah.
West Ham. Fuck, I'll give him 30% on that. But Party, my God, you're brain dead.
I'm dead. You get 40 at 30.
Because no,
Yeah.
we Calafiori deserves the blame, and I blame
Yeah, he does,
and
he
he's a
does.
bad defender. He's more good on offense, but my God, this happens too many times with Party.
Yeah.
I was going ballistic, but at the end of the day, this is going to be us for the rest of the season. That's why I said any win that we can get right now is a bonus because we are going to get dragged into the top four race because we have no striker. At the end of the day, no Saka, no Havertz, no Martinelli. This is going to be the performance for the rest of the season. By the way, we have no options. Sterling comes on, another 0 out of 10. Good job. Who else came on? We put Zinchenko in midfield. This
Yeah.
is how bare bones we are. By the way, we put Zinchenko in midfield.
What we have to go back to looking at January, and again, I'm not trying to say you guys should have signed Watkins. I'm not trying to say that, but it felt like the fact that Arsenal didn't sign anyone in January to me, like screamed, incompetency. How could you not sign anyone?
Listen,
And I'm not saying they should have known that Havertz should have would get injured and Martinelli, but you have to see the worst case scenario. Like
listen.
now you're in the worst case scenario. Now you have to go into
just like
Champions
Num
League. And,
says his owners are like businessmen. This was like a businessman
Yeah.
kind of decision, not to the for
Yeah.
Chelsea, for example. They bought players to sell them, for example. So at least that's better than what
Yeah.
we have. They pretty much
Yeah.
wrote off the season. I mentally wrote off the season the moment Saka
What?
got injured. It's
But Wasim, how can you write off the season? I know Saka got injured and it's a big deal, but it's not like you guys were. I'm not saying again. I'm not saying you guys
We
should
had too
be
many
competing
injury.
with
We had too
Liverpool.
many injuries up front. Listen, if I'm looking at from a like a realistic perspective with my brain and not
Yeah,
my heart, because I'm gonna watch the games
yeah.
regardless. There was no way we're catching up to Liverpool. I'm sorry, even if Liverpool are struggling, we
I
had
know,
no more
I know,
had
I
before
know.
even Havertz got injured. Let's say Havertz got injured like in the middle of January, so they still could have reacted
Yeah,
because he didn't like get injured like after. You had no Havertz, no Saka, no Martinelli, no Jesus. That is genuinely four of your like front seven or no
I
front
wonder if you guys could
six.
have got a loan, like a loan somewhere, like someone you guys could have loaned out for the remaining of the season.
The one
Like
thing is,
that's where I was looking
I
at.
think genuinely, Arteta knows that like our owners won't spend, so he's not budging from his like first choices. Because if he
Yeah.
gets like let's say like a mid striker, he knows then in the summer he's not gonna get his like elite striker. So I think like from looking from the outside, I think Arteta's just not budging off of his forced choices. So there he's
Mm.
probably saying in the summer, give me my first choice, and that's it. So that's my assumption. Maybe listen, we spent so many summers buying
We don't
either
know.
one player or bummy. So here we are. It's what I expected. Wednesday is gonna be another miserable day. Uh, and here we are. That was the season for me. But that game was purely diabolical. By the way, I know like
Yeah.
the game overall. By the way, was just like the epitome of like a friendly game. From our side, there was no tempo whatsoever. There's more urgency from a pickup game in center field. It was just
Yeah, your players are going out on
like
the pitch right now, and they don't feel like they're gonna
take
win.
me
That's what's
take me the
happening.
glory days of last year when we blitzed people at the Emirates for the first 15 minutes. I started watching the game for 5 minutes. I knew this was going to be the bummiest game you will ever see. But this was known. We struggled against Leicester, who doesn't like get whipped by panned by every other team. So it was expected. Like we barely scraped through Leicester, and I expected a bummy game from West Ham. West Ham realistically had a better front three than what we had at the Emirates, by the way. So that's it.
Yeah. I wonder what's going on with Odegaard, to be honest. Like feels like he's been really off and we can't blame injury
He's
anymore
off, and
because
I
he's
don't
been
think
playing
he's
a
playing
couple
in
games.
his best. Like he's not playing higher up the field. I am getting triggered because he's way too deep to receive the ball. I enjoyed Odegaard more when he was at the more closer up front.
Yeah.
He has no
Yeah,
one
yeah.
to link
Close
up
to the
with
box.
to up front, which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think he was best at linking up with Havertz and Saka. You take out both. I like our front three, front four, front five has no synergy together at this point. And I know Timber has been like great this season, but I want Ben
Yeah.
White immediately back in the lineup. I don't know how you wanna Arteta wants to play it, but I want Ben White immediately back in the lineup in the back.
Why did he take out Rice and bring in Skelly?
He listen. Rice had no excuse for that game. He always shits the bed against West Ham. He needs to have a more like alpha mentality because it's like Rice for me. Sometimes it feels like he cares more about what people think about him. You need to be like a dog on the field. Like I know these are your former teammates or whatever, but like there should be no excuse for you
Yeah.
stinking up the place against West Ham every time.
Yeah. That five in the back worked, clearly.
Not
But
even not even dog. West Ham. If you look at their fucking record, this is like the meme of like Southampton when they somehow got a win and lost like 15 games before they beat us. West Ham has not gotten a win since like December 22nd. We of course the gift that keeps
Jesus.
on giving. Like we should have shat on
But
them and
yo,
shat on Potter too.
Potter beat Arteta with three different clubs now. He beat him with a Swedish club, with Brighton, and with West Ham. And apparently, this is his fourth win in 5 games against Arteta. Eh?
He has his number.
Arteta has a boogie against Eddie Howe and Graham Potter.
Yeah, it's okay. Potter just keeps getting sacked. That means it's not as good of an accomplishment.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but honestly, not much to talk about. Like, it just to me, it was a shocking
It wasn't
result.
shocking. Well, it was
Especially that
expected. Well, I'm too
I know
heated
Yemi,
these
but I
days.
really thought because Liverpool dropped points, Arsenal could potentially. I mean, again, I'm not saying you guys should be competing with the title, but it's fun to be,
It,
touching
le-
there. And Liverpool were going to a tough
it,
amount of games.
it's okay. It's okay. A cheap plug though. This is why you have to dabble in sports because my dog Luka Doncic, Lakers gave me life the
Oh
other
my
day.
God.
So thank God. One team wins, one team loses. We just dabble around so we can get some dopamine.
You
That's
can't have one
respect.
sport. Yeah, you can't have one sport. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it for that game. I mean, we could talk about the other
I'll just
meme
say thank you
club
for listening to
in
my TED
London.
talk.
No,
That was a
we're all
therapy session, by the way.
yeah, we're gonna have a lot of therapy sessions because looking like you guys are playing some tough games coming up. I know PSV
Yeah.
away still, in my opinion, won't be an easy game either. So Nottingham
Do
away
I really want to face
next.
Madrid at the Bernabeu with this team? I'm good. If PSV not.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah, man. I feel so shitty because Arsenal had such hopes, especially if you guys were healthy. But
Listen,
we'll see. Now you guys are
listen.
clear top
Give
four.
me to the Liverpool game so I can do some hating. But we'll get there when we get there.
Well, that's such a long
I'll be a
time.
sore loser in this podcast. So I want to let me get to Liverpool later.
Yeah, we get to Liverpool later. But first we talk about the other meme club in London, Chelsea,
I
losing
heard you the first
Asensio.
time you said it, by the way. You don't have to repeat it. You're
Asensio,
sick. You're sick, by
Asensio,
the way.
Asensio double, by the way. Okay, that's the funniest
Asensio,
part. Rashford
even
two
worse is Rashford
assists.
two
Another
assists.
funny
Yeah.
part. So honestly, pretty good game. I thought Chelsea were again not the best in their game. I like that he tested out the waters with Reece James in the midfield. Trying different things. But again, a lot of the players just underperforming. I mean, Wassim had his turn. So, Mo, what do you think? What happened?
No, we can have more of a conversation because my team has been losing. Losses to Wasim aren't, they're kind of
Not
foreign to me. I'm
normal.
used to them. So we could be a conversation. It's okay. For Wasim, we let him vent. He used to beat
Num
me
num is
earlier in
numb.
the
Num
season.
num is numb to it.
Yeah, I'm numb. But honestly, yeah, I said I wanted to see Maresca change around, and he did. And I've been saying I can't blame him. Not that I can't blame him. I can't put all the blame on him because I know when he needs to be flexible, he will be flexible, and he tested it out.
Yeah,
Remember Ziad when I wanted to see Madueke as a number 9?
yeah, yeah,
Um, Look, Madueke is injured. Neto is the only other available guy that can run in behind. He did it, and I generally love like when we just sit here and like ask for something to happen because as fans we know enough about the game to actually want to test specific things out when it makes sense. He
Some
put
fans,
Neto in
yeah,
as a number 9,
yeah,
and it worked for the first
yeah.
half. We were amazing. Neto was running off the ball. Every time Ian Matson was going up from left back for them attacking, Neto would expose that space. He would stay high and wide, and that's where the assist came from. Like it was a long ball, and he cut in, crossed it back to Enzo, and Enzo scored. By the way, the only player 26 game weeks into the season, the only player that could ever hold his head up high at this fucking club. Everyone else is
Who?
shameless, including Cole Palmer. Enzo, man,
Oh,
Enzo's the
oh,
only guy you actually see putting in work. And honestly, at
yeah,
the end of the day, it makes sense to me because I always say this. I always come back to this. He's a World Cup winner. It didn't happen by luck. He was insane at Benfica and made a name for himself. It didn't happen by luck. And by the way, he's the same age as Cole Palmer. But Cole Palmer, when everyone talks about him, they act like, oh my god, he's an up and coming star. Meanwhile, Enzo Fernandez is captaining the team, won a World Cup, and you don't hear as much about him because he's not English.
but what's the difference
Anyways,
between Fernandez and Tillemans?
don't, don't, don't. Please
What's the
don't.
difference?
Please
Tillemans
don't
is
because no, please don't because we can. This can be a whole discussion for another episode. If you want to be, we
okay.
can start a whole new brain dead convo. Get like Tillemans and Enzo. Stop.
Tillemans, what a
You
player, man.
you are
Fuck, I
looking.
love
By
him.
the way, I will say this till the day I die. Okay, Enzo Fernandez will not. He should not. But unfortunately, it seems like it. He cares too much about the teams he plays for. After the game, this guy was crying. By the way,
Yeah, I
like,
saw.
why?
Yeah,
Just leave. Please leave. I want you to leave. I want people to see who you are because people right now generally don't see Enzo Fernandez, and I don't blame you. For us as a Chelsea fan, whatever, I'm forced to watch every single game and every single minute of every game, so you see
yeah,
what a player's actually made
yeah,
out of
yeah, yeah,
on the ball, off the ball, and as a personality. So the hate he gets, I generally do understand.
yeah.
But like for me, I actually want to talk about Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is listen, sure,
What's going on?
highest chances created since December in the league, but 0 assists. Okay, we can blame the people around him. But guess
Yeah,
what? In that game, he had 1 or 2 chances to finish the game off, which he didn't
yeah,
take. We can talk about him, giving Nkunku the one ball out of the 5 or 6 that he could have given to Nkunku. Because in Nkunku
yeah,
that game, I will always say this: I don't defend Nkunku. With him, I'm objective. You're good. You're good. You're shit. You're shit. I don't care anymore.
yeah,
But Nkunku made 5 or 6 insane, elite, top level runs, okay,
yeah,
that he did not receive the ball from, and he put himself in shooting positions. That was the only one that he received from Palmer that he was on his heel and wasn't ready for it. And I generally can excuse him for it. We've played the game. I've generally played with people that it takes them 4 or 5 attacks to give you the ball. And this in
Yeah,
this instant, he didn't expect to get the ball because guess what? I didn't get it for the 4 or 5 times before that. What makes me think you're gonna squeeze this one into me? I don't blame him for that.
yeah, and then
So
Palmer
can
throws a fit right after.
and Palmer throws a fit right after. Palmer
Yeah,
throws a fit when we concede the goal, even though his closing down was absolutely abysmal. Palmer doesn't go and clap the fans like the rest of the team does.
yeah,
So like you know, Palmer. The issue is Palmer sees himself because he carried the team so like insanely last year and to a high level. He
yeah.
thinks he has this like ability where he can act like a star player. You don't have to track
Like a
back. You don't need to
superstar.
press. You gotta jump in
Yeah,
50-50s, you know, and you're allowed to flail your arms and all that shit. And the
yeah,
issue is Maresca supporting it. He's like, oh, that's what happens when like star players are not used to losing and they do that, or like the best player on the team loses. It's okay to expect that reaction from them. It's not okay.
yeah,
And the issue is like people want to blame Maresca. You can blame Maresca all you want, but at the end of the day, it's more than us saying, oh man, we're missing a ball carrier in midfield or we're missing a defender that's quick like Fofana. This board built a team that has zero spine, zero leadership.
yeah,
So
yeah.
where
Oh,
do
so you think
I
that's the
s-
number one, like, kind of primary reason
I,
you guys are
I,
losing?
it's up there with the fact that we lost Lavia and Fofana. For me, Lavia was like, man, Lavia, if you watch him play, he would control the game in every single game he played this season. Sadly, he played
Yeah,
like 6 or 7 games, you know?
yeah,
So missing him, Lavia is big, but yes, 100% for me, leadership on the pitch doesn't exist, man. Maybe Reece James a little bit, Enzo Fernandez a little bit, but Enzo is so emotional, and the other Correa is emotional, and Caicedo is emotional. These are the three that I look for, like that I look at as leaders, because
yeah.
they're the ones you see everyone on the pitch. They go
They
hard into
care.
every tackle.
Yeah,
They care. I'm not gonna say, by the way, I'm not gonna say here and say they always drop master classes. To be honest, Caicedo's the only one who has yet to let me down once this season. He's every game he's playing elite.
yeah,
Enzo and Correa, sure they have off games, but they are leaders. But at the end of the day, they're emotional leaders, and like you can't lead with emotion, man. Like you gotta keep your head, you know. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
No, sometimes it
sad.
takes over you. Sometimes,
It
sometimes it
takes over,
does.
and it shouldn't happen. Also, I just want to say something about Maresca because you know on Twitter I see hilarious people telling me, "Let's try Palmer on the right wing. Let's have Gusto overlap. Let's play Nkunku over Jackson. Let's get Palmer and Nkunku in the same team and play them as false nines. Let's play Jorgensen over Sanchez. Let's change the system. Let's try playing without inverted fullbacks for a change. Try Palmer false nine. Recall Trevor Chaloba. Play Josh Echempong. Guess what? He has done every single one of these
Single
things.
one.
So
Yeah, yeah,
okay, and I actually saw a clip of Mourinho. I came across it today by luck. Honestly, he was when he I think it was 2013 or 2014 when he came back, and he was telling the press how I don't know if you remember this, but he used to start Oscar over Mata for half the season when
yeah,
Mata
yeah,
got
yeah,
injured.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
And he
remember that.
sat there and he told them, he's like, sometimes on the outside you think you know more. You say, why is this player not player playing over
Yeah,
this guy, or why is this guy starting, and all that shit. And at the end of the day, we gotta think of something. Yes, as fans, we can sit here and say this player should play right, or this guy needs to stop
yeah,
inverting your fullbacks. I've been saying that personally as well. I got tired of
yeah.
inverted fullbacks, but guess what? They see these players every single day for a full
Every
season.
single day
It
with
is a
coaches around them, by the way, giving them the
yes,
best stats of every single detail of the
exactly,
on the pitch with video analysis daily. Think Maresca's
exactly.
not watching video?
Exactly. So I personally I told myself I need to stop doing this thing of like, oh, this coach needs to try or this or that, something that's
Yeah,
like that seems too obvious, you know, like
yeah,
signing
yeah, yeah,
Madueke or Neto striker. That's something that made sense. Like it's not something obvious, but something as simple as me saying, yo, stop inverting and have them overlap. I'm gonna stop saying stuff like this because these coaches see them every day and know what they're capable of. There's a
yeah,
reason they don't let that happen. Because Palmer played on the right, Gusto was overlapping, and Nkunku has playing striker. Jorgensen played. We changed the system. We played without inverted fullbacks, and we still lost.
he actually
So
tried a lot of different things. You're right.
he did,
Because
he did,
I
and
remember Sanchez was getting criticized, and Jorgensen, look at him, man. God
yeah,
damn. That
Jorgensen
goal,
is
man.
hilarious, man. He just looks cool playing out from the back. That's all.
That's what people
I,
want.
I, I swear to God. And you know what? The last thing I want to say is the difference between Aston Villa and Chelsea that game. Forget taxes, forget anything. Is that Emery got the backing he needed in the January transfer window, and all Maresca got was
Mm,
a 19-year-old French center midfielder from Ligue 1 that no one has heard about. Okay, so we
yeah,
lost the game to Villa's new signings. Rashford, you called it. Rashford
yeah.
double assist and Asensio 2 goals,
Since
right?
yeah, yeah,
So we have to look at the idiot directors and
yeah.
the
Actually,
behavior they do. And like they're not good enough for Chelsea's ambitions. I've been saying this. Like I was fooled honestly because I'm like, you know what, it's a new project. It takes time. But I was fooled by like signing youngsters and saying throw them together and they're gonna grow
and
together.
Num Num, we
No.
also talked about like the fact that there's so many other games they signed. Like I understood the vision. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know what you meant. Why that was something that could be like. other teams would replicate because it made sense.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more games. Teams are gonna have it be team and 18, but again, it seems like it's a failure of a project so far. We don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but
It,
so far,
no, it's definitely a failure of our project so far. We can definitely say that for sure.
yeah,
And like, I don't know. There is something else I want to say. We competed for top four, right? And
yeah,
you have only one player who you want to make the difference for you in Palmer, and you're putting him again. Like to me, Palmer is not like like he's not a player that you put through the middle. To me, Palmer is still off the right, maybe in the half space, and you do have to have some more
yeah.
support for him on the outside, whether it's
I
wing
agree.
back,
I
whether it's
agree.
right back. I don't know what you want. And again, like I know we laugh about Joao Felix and all that, and I did say generally the ceiling of this team was Joao Felix. You play Joao Felix, our results were automatically going to improve because you cannot have in our squad, we don't have a single player that can carry the ball through the middle. Do you know how
Mm,
pathetic that is, Ziad?
yeah,
You always talk about Pedri.
yeah,
Look how
yeah,
good
yeah.
Pedri is in
Progression
driving
of
the
the
ball.
ball, by the way, progressing the
Yes,
ball. That's why when you play Football Manager, there's different midfielding
roles.
positions.
Yes,
An
and like
advanced playmaker, someone who drives the ball up, someone who's gonna get the ball deep, someone who's gonna
exactly.
box the box. You need
We
different
don't
profiles.
we don't have that. We had two players that like people laugh at, but I'm like, man, people don't understand football. You need this person in the middle. We had
Yeah,
Chukwemeka and we had Joao Felix. Those are the only two players that can do it. Profiles matter in football. Like Barca, when you look at Barca, you have Pedri, and then you have your wingers that can carry the ball as far as you want it.
yeah,
You have the
yeah,
progression through the sides, and you have it through the middle. We don't
yeah,
have anything like that. So now
yeah,
when teams play against us, we get zero respect. Like they come at us and they're like, why not? Because if you're gonna have shit defense, you better have good attack. And I'm not gonna speak about our
yeah,
defense because
yeah,
I
yeah,
know how disgusting it is.
yeah.
So
Holy shit,
yeah,
the defense, man.
that's
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It seems like the profiling for especially the midfield seems off. And like again, Enzo's a great player. Caicedo is a great player. Again, I think people judge Enzo because of his. Again, I hate doing this, but because of his price, and it's not his fault
mm-hmm.
that he was bought for 120 million, whatever it was. And Caicedo too. People just expectations go so fucking high that it becomes like almost impossible to meet. And then
Yeah,
again, I always said this thing where when all players are playing bad in a team, I I don't like nitpicking one player anymore. Like that to me,
hundred
I just
percent.
like or maybe Colwell. I'll say he's still shit, but like a lot of the players, I'll be like, yo, they're great players in a different system. Like even Neto, man. Neto, maybe today or this weekend he played well, but he hasn't been playing well since he came to Chelsea. But in Wolves, he's playing amazing. And again,
But
systems matter.
exactly. I'll be honest. Like Neto, you just said it yourself, Ziad. He performed well against Aston Villa, right? Because what was the difference? He played in a system where we
Yeah,
were actually playing in a lower block, and we were depending on transitions and long balls up to Neto to chase this.
yeah,
He's a dog. He's a headless chicken that just wants space to run in. In Wolves, he
yeah.
thrived because Nuno Santos was their coach. Look how Nottingham Forest played. Very low, and you expect your wingers to chase the ball and to start
Yeah,
counterattacks for you. There's a reason Ilanga, motherfucking Ilanga, by the way, is
yeah,
thriving in Nottingham Forest because
yeah,
he's just a runner, and Neto was that guy for Nuno Santos. When players get exposed when they join top clubs because your technical ability and your IQ actually get tested when you play against a low block, and you got to get your solutions on the pitch with your teammates. Your manager can work as much as he wants during the week, but at the end of the day, different situations are gonna arise in the game, and if you can't solve them because you need specific instructions or you need something just as simple as space to run into, you are
yeah,
not a top player, and that's
yeah,
Neto.
yeah. 100%. And like another example, we'll talk about this with the city, Liverpool. Like again, of course, I'm not comparing Salah and like someone like Doku, but I was watching the game today and where they're receiving the ball and
Yes.
the players surrounding them. Again, Salah, if Salah was in Doku's situation, I don't think he'll do any better. And if because Doku doesn't have the IQ of Salah, but do you think Doku, if he had the space to run into, he wouldn't fucking kill him more? Like these players are taught from a young age. They're built in a profile to play a
Yes.
certain way. And not everyone's Messi or Ronaldo or these top tier players that come once in a fucking blue moon that are gonna be able to do anything on the pitch. So these players are profile players that put into a system, and if they're not put into a good system, unfortunately, they either get exposed or they just are not as good as they seem to be somewhere else. Like
But
I'm sure Dooku could play so much better than he is right now. But in a situation they're in, maybe they play a low block more often, and Dooku doesn't play low block. So again, it could be misprofiling. I saw your tweet today. You're talking about no. Someone else tweeted about who's the new midfielder City got
Nico, Nico
Nico. Like
Gonzalez.
Nico, some people are like criticizing him today because he didn't play well, but again, Nico could look better in a system, and it's all about the scouting. That's why scouting is not easy. Scouting, if
Mm.
by the way, if I go to a game and be like, "Oh, this guy's a good player," doesn't mean that I'm gonna sign him to my team just because he's a good player.
Exactly. Yeah,
It doesn't make
legit.
sense.
But this is yeah. Thank you for saying this. This is what Chelsea Football Club are doing. They're
Yeah,
finding players in a parking lot. You're good. Okay, come to my team.
yeah, it doesn't make
They're
sense.
not. They're not thinking of like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna sign Caicedo. I'm gonna sign a midfielder that complements him. I'm gonna sign a striker. I'm gonna sign. I'm gonna. Sorry, I have Palmer. I'm gonna sign a striker that complements him. Like this
Yeah,
Jackson and Palmer link up that we got last season and this season
yeah,
until Jackson got injured was
yeah.
by luck. They just happened to fit together because they are both actual elite footballers in terms of
Elite
being intelligent,
footballers. Yeah, yeah.
you know. But that's not what you get with every signing. Like it's hilarious. Like for me, why'd you sign Neto? You don't have any box presence. You don't have an Ozyman in there, or like a Shesko or
Yeah.
like Jokeris or someone that wants to tackle the ball in the air. We have Jackson. You're not gonna cut back and cross the ball to him. So like,
Yeah.
why'd you get Neto? It doesn't make sense. Don't tell me he's a good 1v1 winger. Like
Yeah.
Jesus,
No,
man.
no, 100%, and that's why like, you don't take Twitter seriously when people go like some people will just watch a game, be like, oh my god, this guy's amazing, and I want to sign him for my club. But do you
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
your team? Do you look at what you need? Like, I know people don't think that deep. Like, you watch a player and
That's
you're
how
like,
you
holy
should
shit.
think.
But
That's
if
how
you
you
want
should
to
think.
really build a good squad, you have to think about profiles, and profiles is the most important thing. You have to look what they're good at and what they do well, and that's why when City signing someone like Duku, I was like, why? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I remember when they had Sane and Sterling, and Sterling is a goal scorer. Sane, I wouldn't say he's a goal scorer, but he could score goals. He could hit the
Yeah.
ball nicely. He has other traits other than pace and dribbling and taking on players. Doku is a great signing for like an Aston Villa. He's a great signing for that team. But for a City, we can get into that more. But I agree. I think a lot of misprofiling in terms of the signings you guys have had.
Misprofiling's huge, man.
I think
Huge.
still what's funny is that we talked about this with like what Chelsea's project was. The project makes sense. Oh, we need a lot more players for a
Yeah.
lot more games. That makes sense. But it's you have to get the signings right, and that's why I always gave Pep props, even though he spent a lot of money, because his profiling was always good. Even though he did fuck up in a lot of signings in terms of the fullbacks or keepers, but relatively his signings have been pretty
I'll
good.
put that in
So
quotations,
But
heavy quotations.
why?
what is it? What is it?
Pepper's profiling. How much money did City spend? How many players were duds? Like,
I
Wasim,
mean,
how much money
defensively,
have United spent? How much money have Chelsea
I
spent?
mean, like, sure, Pep was maybe 50%, but I guess, like, if we can compare them to United, sure, he's better than the United profiling, but, like,
For sure.
like, you're privileged if you're gonna, like, be able in 5 years to spy maybe, like, 8 different fullbacks and, like, four keepers.
no, I agree.
Oh, here we
But
go. Okay, don't say eight.
but no,
Let's
no,
let's
but
actually
Ted,
see the numbers.
like defensively, or like defensively and in goalkeepers, he was weak. And like his the way he was signing players just didn't make sense. It just seemed like he was signing whoever he thought would fit into the team. Like
But
look at the left backs. Who do you have? You had Kolarov, you had Clichy, you had like Zabaleta. Zabaleta was from
but
previous,
yo, we can
and then
all agree fullbacks is the toughest market to even go for. It's you don't have a lot of players to go for, and for a certain type of football, you're gonna try different things. I agree, he has a lot of privilege, but at the end of the day, when you fuck up one signing for a keeper, like he got who Bravo, then he got Edison. No, who is in between? That's a keeper. That's one keeper he fucked up with.
I mean he ended Joe Hart's career for no reason for Bravo when he noticed it was a big mistake.
I don't
That's
know if it's no reason, man, because clearly we all knew he wasn't playing with the ball. He couldn't play with the
And
ball.
like,
he never got a
how
chance.
many wingers did he have to buy, and how many duds? Like, when's the last good winger he bought since Sterling or Sane? Even though like Sane maybe is like wasn't as great.
But
To be
but
fair, yeah, like
Sonny and Sterling legit won
no,
them.
Sonny Sterling worked. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
but I'm
not
saying
but
like, what's the
but
next best
Grealish.
winger he bought since then? There has been none.
no, but yeah, but he fucked up after that because I would say since 23, 24, when he started signing Nunez, which I think, by the way, to me is probably the worst his worst
Okay,
signing.
but I do believe, by the way, he signed Nunes and I'll tell you, this is my thinking. He signed Nunes and he signed Kovacic and he signed
And
Doku
Kevin
and he
Phillips.
signed Guardiol. I For Calvin Phillips was before that. But those three or four, he
Calvin
signed in one
Phillips.
transfer window, right? And
Yeah.
I generally think Pep was looking to change the style of play. If you look at the players, Nunes carries the ball, Duka carries the ball, Kovacic carries the ball,
Mm-mm.
Gvardiol carries the ball. He was looking on like individual people that can get you off the pitch because he was moving away from his tiki taka, which we clearly see doesn't take place anymore. So like
Yeah.
thinking like in terms of thinking about the way he wanted to play, he knew how he wanted to do it, but I guess he got the wrong players, like wrong personnel, not the wrong profiles, wrong personnel.
If I look at the signing, like this is who I can say. You know what? Grealish is a flop. If
Yeah, this is
we're
a big
gonna be
flop.
honest, he's a flop
Big flop. Yeah, big flop.
and big flop. But do you guys think that's misprofiling? Do you think Grealish just declined?
No,
No,
it's
again, it's
misprofiling.
yeah. Why did he decline?
Look what he was with Aston Villa. Look how what he was immediately
Yeah.
after when he was at Man City. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that for
the
sure. I
the
think
one
he was a
thing
bad
about
signing.
Chelsea, however, listen, I hate Maresca just because people had to compare him to Arteta, but I don't think like last game. The thing is with Chelsea, they have since mid December they have 2 wins in the Premier League out of 10. Like they've just been
God
free
damn.
falling, and like obviously every loss or every draw is gonna like put more pressure on Maresca. But like I wouldn't even put
Yeah.
pressure on him from the Aston Villa game because it's not his fault.
Me too.
Jorgensen and Gusto have STE.
Yeah.
Because like,
No,
because like, listen,
I
I was
agree.
personally one of the people that even said like Renato Sanchez should get dropped by Jorgensen, but my goodness gracious, there's just I guess two clowns.
No, but that's the thing. That's the funny part about it. All season, it's not that I've been praising Sanchez, but I said Sanchez should stay in net. Regardless of the
Yeah.
mistakes he's making, he has not made one shot-stopping mistake. I've
Yeah.
seen Jorgensen play in the Conference League all season. I question people. Why do you want Jorgensen? You see him in the Conference League and he's making mistakes, and these mistakes will carry on from competition to... You're testing him in the Conference League, he's making mistakes. He's not going to make mistakes in a higher stake Premier League game. Of course he will. Sanchez never let us down shot stopping. Sanchez's decision making and his ADHD and his fucking like rash nature fucked us over.
Yeah.
I'm not
80s.
defending him either. ADHD
Yeah.
as fuck. I'm not defending him, but like the facts are facts. He's better. Keep him in net. Like, and I guess the only thing maybe I can look at Maresca, maybe he's taking him out of the spotlight because like it was not getting better for Sanchez in terms of like the amount of attention and media that
Yeah.
was being spoken on him.
Yeah.
But now, by the way, in one of the other episodes, I said this. I said Maresca should not stop, put in Jorgensen because at this point, all the spotlight is in the goalkeeper position. The moment he fucks up,
Yeah.
now we have two goalkeepers that are cooked. And it's
Yeah.
13 or 14 games to the season. I swear on my life, I knew this was going to happen. I was waiting
Yeah.
for this to happen. And it happened.
No, you're right.
Like, this is, it's
But
like,
what does he do? The thing is, this is English media, and this is why managers like Mourinho, where we all love them, because they control the narrative a lot more than the
exactly.
media. And the media, unfortunately, controls the fuck out of this narrative. And now there's like the players have to be stronger, man. Sanchez, listen, you fucked up a couple times, but like you said, it's not shot stopping reasons. Again, keepers are. It was relatively a new thing to become a super keeper. It's not like this thing that happened like 10 years ago. It happened 20, like, I don't know, when did it start? Actually, no, maybe it actually did
I'd say,
happen, like,
no, I'd say
Neuer
like 10, 11 years
made
ago
it.
with Neuer.
Yeah, 10 years ago. So,
But
again,
it was still
maybe
new.
the
It was
cycle
new.
of keepers, it's happening. So, I don't know.
I think with players' mistakes or like people learning on the job, I think it's an issue in the Premier League when I thought about it
Yeah.
personally because, for example, City won 6 out of the last 7 Premier Leagues, with with Liverpool winning one, which is poverty in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think with the big teams, for example, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, they've been so desperate for success. That's why sometimes new signing flops. There's no time for like
Mm,
learning on the job. Even if like you're putting in
yeah.
youngsters, for example, like if you want to win the league and you're desperate to win the league because one team has been hogging it, you cannot make mistakes. So that's why I think there's always highlights and like even fan base, like even forget the media. You look at Twitter, people shit on players immediately. Look how many like
Right away.
YouTubers there is
Yeah.
right now for like even
Yeah.
for those big people are gonna like shit on players instantly because like there's no time to like get better. If you're a new signing,
Learn.
you need to
Yeah.
perform. If you make 2 mistakes, that's it. That's too many mistakes. So I think it's more about like also fan bases are like so desperate for success that any mistakes get highlighted and the players get shat on like immediately. Like there's not enough time to like like you need to link up, get chemistry,
Learn. Yeah.
learn or even
But I
learn.
think
It's just like you need to perform at all
Yeah.
I
times.
think it's fair. I think it's fair. You are a professional footballer. you're coming from a league. Why do I have to wait for you to adapt? Like, and what guarantees to me that you're gonna adapt after all the mistakes you're making? And by the way, a keeper like Robert Sanchez, 26 or 27 years of age, goalkeepers do not get better at playing from the back.
Better.
You don't just get better.
Yeah.
You don't know how to function with your feet. You are playing at the highest level of football. You will never get better. You can train as much as you want. I promise you, you will not improve at the ball at your feet. It will not happen. And also, going back to the sporting directors at Chelsea, I know you want to build a young team, but the comedic part about all this, we all know goalkeepers peak at like 27 or 28. So that's what I. Oh no,
Yeah.
sorry. They start developing at that age.
They start
right?
developing
They
at
go
that
into
age, yeah.
high 30s, into their mid 30s. That's when they're reaching their peak. So why not sign a goalkeeper at 27 or 28 rather than have Sanchez there and then sign a young Jorgensen who's 21 and then we sign a new Belgian keeper who's like 18 or 19 or 20, however young he is. Like change, like if you're gonna keep them, make your model make sense. Don't just sign young players across the board because they're young. Sign
Yeah,
them on the age based off of their position.
I think
historically, you always had a young keeper and an way older
the thing
keeper.
is, honestly though, with keeper
Yeah,
markets,
you're right. We
the
did.
keeper market is just as bad as like the fullback market these days. But like, it's not as good as
Yeah, yeah,
back in the day. For example, there's not many top
yeah.
keepers. I think with like the
Think about
shifting
City, by the way.
like there've been such a shift in keepers from like shot stopping now to playing out from the back and stuff like that. There's not many keepers that actually can do both. Like obviously
Not
I'll have
many,
to
man. Not
any
many.
big names like outside of like Neuer back in the day, like for example Raya's like
Yeah, but Wasim,
like
who else? Sure, Raya. Okay,
no, but
but
like not even like I was
Ter
gonna
Stegen not anymore, in
say
my opinion.
like I was gonna say Raya's a good with his feet, but maybe not as good of a shot stopper. Like it's like
Yeah,
not many keepers are complete in my opinion.
100%. And
Listen,
I was looking
listen.
at Ederson too, for example. Like, by the way, I know City should replace him. By the way, he's dog fucking shit now. But who does City go for now? Who is out
Ziad,
there? That's
I'll
why your scouting has to be A plus
Ziad,
to find these gems.
but but why are we so obsessed with ball playing goalkeepers? I genuinely
Because
do
Pep
think
ruined
the
football.
no, but the game is changing. The game is changing. PSG have Donnarumma and they are playing some of the best football right now. They don't necessarily build up from the back at all costs, just like Chelsea and
True,
Arsenal and
true.
Liverpool. Sorry, not Liverpool. Who? Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City do. And look at Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. Three teams that are still playing that football are the ones struggling. PSG don't. Liverpool
Yeah,
don't. Inter Milan don't.
yeah,
Leverkusen don't. Even
yeah.
Barcelona to an extent. They don't just, you guys don't just force it from the back. Madrid
Mm.
don't. Atletico Madrid don't. Atalanta don't. The game is changing. It's not we're not in the era where like we have to keep building from the back. It's not happening. Even in the Premier League, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest all play more direct football. Direct football's coming back and I'm so fucking happy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. And this obsession of playing from the back, like, you don't have to force it, man. Just
You
fucking
don't. It's
kick it
becoming.
up.
By the way, it's becoming outdated. And if the coaches don't pick up on this,
Yeah.
then like they're gonna stay behind. Which is what's worrying about Pep right now. By the way, Pep is sticking to his style, and he is trying to kind of change, but in a way, he is still trying to stick to his way of playing out from the back, and he is getting caught out, and it's just not working for his team.
The
Like, and
I
that
don't,
thing is
I
what
don't
killing
blame
him.
him, man. I don't blame him when he
But
went 5 out of 6. But I know what you mean. But I'll
Ziad,
give him this
Ziad,
leeway season. I'll give him this leeway
but
season. No, no, you
no,
can't
no.
say
don't worry.
five out of
That
No, I
six.
said it. I already said it this season. I said Pep is finishing going to like Pep's finished at club football. Ziad, just like Mourinho did. You laugh. I will come back to this.
Le-
I said this earlier, and they're finished. Ziad, just like Mourinho did not adapt, okay, and he fell off. This is what's happening to Pep.
Who
Mourinho
fell
won
off,
the treble
Mourinho?
with Porto,
Yeah,
man. Come on.
yeah.
Mourinho won the treble with Inter, man. Come on. Mourinho won leagues in every single league he's been in. Come on. Guess what? He didn't adapt. He got kicked out to the Turkish league. This is
Yeah.
happening to Pep. You don't come to terms with it. You know, listen, man. Football changes. You either go
It
with it
does.
or you don't.
the 400 million Man City is
And
about to spend in the summer is gonna come in handy. Don't worry, City's winning the next Premier
no,
League
but
title.
even trust me. No. The City are finished. Even with the money with Pep, it doesn't matter because no one here, none of us sitting here in the beginning of the season would have thought City could go through a slump that Pep cannot get them out of. And it's happened. And he's had multiple weeks. It's been what? Man, it's been 5 months of this slump and Pep's tactics have not got them out. Pep needs to adapt. This is
But
it's
what do you,
the facts
what
of
do
it.
you, what do you say when the slump still gets him top four?
That the league's horrific because look who's behind them.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay. Yeah.
look how we're performing.
Yeah.
Look how we're performing.
Yeah. The league
It
is
says, it says,
horrific. Like,
it says
that's
nothing
just
about
good.
Pep right now. Yeah, look how Madrid slapped him home and away.
Yeah, man. I was just saying, like, as the league has been shit.
It's
Listen, I
horrific.
agree with you because there's a cycle of life, man. It's Pep has to
Hmm.
decline at one point, right? But what if Pep next year or 2 years from now goes to an international team? Maybe doesn't win any trophies, but he just retires. That's it. I don't
Yeah,
think there's a period you could say really, quote unquote, he completely declined because it's one season.
I would say this
Mourinho
season. Yeah,
has. I don't see Pep just leaving the football. By the way, he can't just do that. He's an obsessive freak, just like Mourinho is. Like Pep lives football, and like
yeah.
with life. And by the way, these guys are very, very arrogant. Like think about Mourinho and Pep, what they've won, what they've done. Like, like you said, maybe you're right. Maybe Pep never comes back and he says, you know what, I'm gonna fucking play the football I want to play, no matter what. And he gets found out.
I think
You
that's
never
what's
know.
gonna happen. I don't think Pep will adapt. Although he did have an interview lately, like recently, of like talking about how physicality is coming back and like you have to have physical players all over the pitch, and it's like transition football because that's what's been killing him this year, man. Like I remember the reason I was genuinely okay like with Poch coming to Chelsea last year is because the football he played, that football causes chaos against big teams that try to have control in the game. This is why when we like, generally had a fully fit team against Arsenal last year, Arsenal tried to play this control football versus our chaos. It ended up being a 2-2 against Man City last year. It was a 4-4 and a 1-1. Like against the big team, against Liverpool, it was a 1-1. Like
Yeah.
against the big teams, chaos football always thrives, and like this is what's dominating right now. Managers, this is why Slot is cooking, man. Slot has that like balance between chaos and calm,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. And
not
yeah.
many managers have.
And a lot of people said that after Klopp. Listen, let's talk about City, Liverpool, since we're talking about this already. 2-0 for Liverpool. Liverpool dominated the fuck out of them. I'm not gonna lie. Even though you could see the stat sheet and you see City shot a lot, didn't have a lot of great opportunities. Liverpool dominated in terms of they wanted. By the way, they gave City the ball. They were so confident in their
Yeah.
defense second half
Oh yeah.
that they gave them the ball, and they just played transition. And again, I'll always praise Slot for this man. His defensive tactics are so amazing, and it's not you can't like defensively. Listen, you can just tell players just stay in one place, work together, but the ability to go from defensive to counter is incredible. And where he positions his midfielders, man, just salute to him. Like Jones, Sospalai, and McAllister, man, today unreal, like unbelievable.
Yeah, the way like Slot he makes you love football because like he uses players the way they should be used.
Yeah, man.
You want to sit and dictate. You want to run box to box. Salah, you're my killer. You're the guy that's gonna make the difference on the pitch.
Yeah,
Salah, stay high, the highest player on the pitch. Like he uses you like you should be used. Arnold, you thrive on giving through balls over the top. Do that. He coaches football. He makes it seem so simple, and this is generally why he is elite because this is not
Sal-
easy to do.
Salah and Luis Diaz today were doubling Savinho and Duco
You
today.
you saw Salah? Listen, Diaz
Yeah,
tracks back.
yeah,
Salah today, it's like he had instructions on him. You have to double every time. I
yeah.
guess it's because he does not trust his fullbacks. Arnold Robertson, by the way, Arnold set a record today in the Premier League. Most times dribbled by in a single game, 11.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
seen two wingers rinse the fullback pairing and the team still loses.
Wow.
Like this is how bad Man City are, man.
Yeah.
But
Arnold
yeah,
12
Salah's
times
work
dribble
rate was
pass.
insane. Yeah,
Wow.
Arnold is embarrassing.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
Van Dijk and Konate, man, today again, like they played
man,
amazing. And again,
it's
it
humongous.
it reminds me of again. I'm not saying Rice should have cleared the header, but how Van Dijk and Konate clear headers, man. I swear it's like their positioning is perfect.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Van Dijk
You know
especially,
why?
man, always.
You know why? Because Van Dijk, 100%, Van Dijk, I'm certain he does not stop talking to his defenders. I'm certain
Mm,
there's no way you and all of your defenders are in the right position in the box every single time
all the
just
time,
by
yeah,
luck or training. You're talking. You're consistently moving them around and telling them like whenever the guy's coming, move here, move there.
yeah.
He is consistently talking. This is Van Dijk, man. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy and
What a
what a
player.
performance! What a performance from Liverpool today, and they're
Humongous.
champions, man. That's it. Like they won the title, in my opinion. I know we all thought it's over, but to me today was just the icing on the cake. They won the
Yeah.
league, fair and square, best team in the country by a mile. No real competition to them. Again, I know there's not much to talk about because it was a complete
It's
domination
okay, it's okay. Can
to
I
me.
You
jump in
know,
now because
uh,
of the love fest for Liverpool? Can I jump in? Can I be a hater
Here
for a
we
moment?
go. What?
Listen,
Why?
listen. Congrats to Liverpool. Congrats to Andre Slot. But listen, this term that he's elite is just hilarious to me. Listen, he's a good coach, sure. Did he benefit from City having their biggest downfall? Sure. Did he benefit from Arsenal being rampaged through injuries and having beef with the red cards and PGMOL? Sure. Did he benefit from Klopp's team that he's built? Yes. And are they benefiting
Wassim,
from PGML sucking them off with
Wassim.
good decisions because of David Koo and like this video about Klopp? Sure. At the end of the day, I cannot wait for when Slot starts buying his own players because that seems to be like every manager's downfall. Since Liverpool fans think the weakest point is Arnold, I cannot wait to see which defensive solid mid right back they're gonna buy to replace him, because that seems to be like, oh, that's gonna be the weak point. And listen, Salah's season has rivals any Ronaldo or Messi season they've had in the Liga. So if he leaves or once he like his numbers dips down, let's see what Liverpool are gonna do.
Okay, Wasim, you bring in a good point. I'm not trying to say what you said is wrong. But Wasim, do you remember before the season started what people were saying about Liverpool?
That
Do
wasn't
you
what I
remember?
said.
But majority of people were saying, "Oh, Liverpool are declining. Liverpool don't look the same. Liverpool are not looking good. They're not. They're gonna. Let's see if they make top four." People were saying this stuff about Liverpool, and you brought points that I can't refute. Yeah, Salah is having one of the greatest seasons of all time. He's gonna win Ballon d'Or. But at the end of the day, I have to give Slot props because of what he's
Listen,
done with the
I
team
said
coming
he's a
in,
good manager.
especially coming
He's
transitioning
not
from
elite
Klopp.
yet. When you win one title, you're not gonna be elite. That's not the standard. At
No,
the end
no,
of the day, is he a good manager?
yeah, yeah,
Sure.
he's
People don't
not.
need to overhype
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
And this Liverpool team, at the end of the day, they say, "Oh, this is the new biggest rivals." Listen, City is like Liverpool's daddy at this point, because winning 6 out of 7 Premier Leagues is not a rivalry. By the way, these guys little bro you at every single moment they do. By the way, you should be ashamed. Like the way these two teams suck off each other, bring me back to the days where people actually pushing each other. For me, at
yeah. I
the end
hate
of
each
the day,
other.
it's okay. You can say like they won the title fair and square, sure, whatever. I cannot wait
Yeah,
for Liverpool's downfall because Salah's form is gonna be like unsustainable. Not like he hasn't hit these numbers, but these are like demonic numbers.
crazy
And
numbers.
like
Yeah,
them
yeah.
replacing Arnold is not gonna be easy because you're not gonna like get. Oh, I cannot wait for Connor Bradley to play there. Cannot wait. Uh,
Yeah, and they're not gonna get money for Arnold either. He's gonna go for free. So like, you have to be wise with the money you're gonna be spending on
Do
a
you
right
think
back
Arnold's
too.
leaving? I don't think he's leaving.
You don't think so?
the
Yo, you know what I'm worried about? Salah, by the way, I'm worried about.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think Arnold's. Oh, but you see, by the way, Pep and Salah today after the game, Liverpool fans are shitting themselves. They're like, Pep, don't you dare. They were talking after. Pep was hugging him. They're like
No,
laughing.
he's not gonna
Can
go.
you
He's not gonna go.
imagine?
He's not gonna go.
Salah
I'm
on the
I,
free to win City.
I'm worried about, yo. What if Salah doesn't sign? We forget what Wasim said about Arnold. Salah doesn't sign. That's when Salah. You have to coach my G.
For me, I'm
So
just
I
being
don't. No, no. But
for
Ziad.
me, I'm just being a hater, sure. But at the end of the day, the two big listen, the teams need to take advantage when other teams struggle, and that's what Liverpool did. To be honest, like there's no fault in that.
Dude,
Listen,
yeah,
like two teams stunk it up. They had their own issues. They fell off. You just have to win. It's the same.
yeah.
It's the same thing
Took
as like when
advantage.
Leicester won the title. Is it their fault that the other team shut the bed? No, every other team wanted to stink
Yeah,
it up. But for me, I'll wait till next season because the two teams that were actually going to compete with Liverpool had an absolute stinkfest like situation that they just couldn't handle.
But I just
yeah,
want to say one thing. I just think it's unfair for you guys to say that about Slot and Ziad. Like for you to say you have to actually start coaching. He is the Slot. Sorry, Salah is having a record-breaking season
because of him.
single-handedly because of Slot. So this is the first game I've seen Salah track back. In my
Yeah,
opinion, it's very hard to set up a team where your winger is not tracking back and you transition as smoothly as Liverpool
yeah,
did
yeah,
transition.
yeah,
How on earth do you convince your midfielders to bust along? Maybe it is easier because Salah is proving it with the numbers, but again, it's slot system. He supposedly and Curtis Jones or Gravenberg or McAllister are consistently. Put this game aside, are consistently covering for Salah all season long because they know
yeah,
the output is there on the other side. We never saw
yeah,
this with Klopp. Klopp was
yeah,
heavy transition. Salah get on the back post. We saw Salah's playmaking to a certain extent last season with Klopp or whenever with Klopp was there. But this is the time where Salah consistently is positioned at the edge of the box, like right
yeah,
at the edge of the box, putting in consistent passes, crosses, or having shots from angles he was never having before. There's a reason he's putting up these numbers. If Klopp was still here, Salah would not be like this because Salah's legs are definitely going, pace is going, physicality is also going in
yeah.
terms of stamina. He can't keep this up for 90 minutes if he was playing under Klopp. I think Slot needs a lot more respect than what he's getting because, again, in my
Yeah, yeah.
opinion, the reason I say he is elite is because not. Look at all the managers, man. I'm sorry, but look at Arteta. He's not utilizing his midfield the way he's fucking signed Havertz for midfield. Like, you really think Havertz's strength is a midfielder? You signed Rice and you still cannot find a way to put him in his best position. Whether it's injuries or not injuries. Maresca, like, you're signing, or we have Caicedo, probably one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. But when he's a defensive midfielder, you don't just put him in a six. Use him like Conte. Look how high Conte used to press for us. Like, you utilize this. You have to find a system where your best players, you're utilizing their best attributes. This is not happening with any other manager. Genuinely, apart from Arne Slot, he is the only manager who's bringing out the best in every player, and this is why it looks so easy for him. This is why
Yeah.
it looks easy. Like, he's
It's okay.
capitalizing
We'll
on
see
this.
what he does when he gets his new signings, because this is pretty much still Klopp's team. But again, we'll see. I will comfortably wait next season once like some of his better player leaves. And listen, he can prove me wrong next year. I'm fine. But like, if Salah and Arnold leave, listen, I will see who replace them, and I'll see his new signings. We'll see how it goes.
I want to
I mean,
retract. I didn't mean to say that he doesn't coach. I meant that Salah has been winning games, by the way,
yeah, he
like
has. He has.
for Liverpool so many times. Like, I honestly, I don't know what's going on this season where everything is going in for Salah. And I have to give him props, but even today's goal, holy fuck, the thing bounced in after his shot. So
Yeah, legit.
everything's going right for Salah. And like Wasim said, I don't think it's rivaling the best seasons of Messi or Ronaldo, but it's the best Premier League season we've ever seen by far.
Mm.
Because he's probably gonna break the scoring record and he's probably gonna break the assist record. And if he doesn't break the scoring record, he already holds the scoring record, by the way. So he's probably gonna have 30 plus goals, and I'm guessing he's gonna have
Are
20
you
plus
sure
assists.
Haaland
And
doesn't
that
have
would
the
be
scoring goal?
He does
I'm pretty
36.
sure Salah. Wait, Haaland broke it. Yeah, 36, right?
Yeah, Salah hit 36. I'm sorry, Holland hit 36 and 35.
Yeah, no, 36. Yeah, so
Mm.
Salah has to score 37. Yeah, it's still the best season ever,
Listen,
and
man,
people.
this guy's a right winger.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I know he plays high up. I know he doesn't track back much, but Salah is a right winger. Salah is not someone you can call a striker or an attacking midfielder. He's a right winger. But by the way, Wasim, like, genuinely, if we sit here and try to remember when the last time Liverpool missed on a signing apart from Nunes, we won't think of one. They're bored. Like Edwards, honestly, he hits the nail on the head every single time with his signings. And this is why, like, I know losing Salah is gonna be huge. I'm not arguing with that. I know losing Arnold's gonna be huge if he leaves because who the fuck are you gonna bring in? Frimpong, a whole
Yeah,
new player. Like, what other right back out there? But again, like, this is a team that, like, we've been watching them long enough to understand that their signings do not miss. And another reason I like Arne Slot is because last season, Gakpo, Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and those five were having atrocious seasons. They were not good. McAllister was getting exposed. Gravenberch was not getting game time. Gakpo was in and out of the team,
Gravenberg
mainly playing
especially.
mainly playing as a number 9. McAllister was playing deep and sometimes high up, and Curtis Jones was not even important at all. All of a sudden, these five that were missing from Klopp's team are mainstays in Slot's team, and like consistently starting games and consistently winning them games. And there's a reason they're at the top of the table. But I know we'll see next year. But
We'll
I
see.
genuinely
Yeah.
do believe he's a top coach. Like,
No,
there's
no, but
too many
yeah,
positives for him.
Listen, I again, like, I'm not gonna take away, like, I'm just not gonna label him elite as of yet, from one season. Like, I still say, like, congrats to everything he's done. I just will see, like, as things develop, because, like, these are, like, none of these are like his players. Sure, he came in, he had to figure it out, and he figured out with some of these players. But I'll see, like, a lot of managers' downfall is once they start having to get their own players in. That's like something that could happen. We'll see how it goes. For me, I still think if we didn't get ransacked to injury, if we just still had Saka, I think we would be closer to Liverpool than we are right now. It's just at the end of
yeah,
the day, if
yeah.
you take out I think by the end of the season, Salah's gonna have like plus 30 goals, plus 20 assists. If you're gonna have that, and another team just does not have that, it's just there's just
Yeah,
nothing you can
Legit.
do. And
that's the
and for
outlier.
me,
Yeah,
listen, I just love what Spozza is doing. I actually rated him. I remember when we did like a first like XI combined between
yeah,
Liverpool and Arsenal. I was the only one that chose Spozza in my team because I actually rate him.
true,
So I'm happy
true.
he's doing well. At the end of the day,
He's a good
I
player.
wish the Premier League title race was closer. I'm just depressed.
Yeah,
There's no point in this
yeah.
season. Just fucking get the fat lady to sing. End the season. Get me to the January. Get me
Stop
to
the
the
count.
summer window. There's no point in the season anymore. It is what it is.
You can argue that Chiesa is the only signing of his, no?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Okay, sure. Like let's say he failed, but we know it's well documented. Arsenal is one club I don't know anything about in terms of signing. Liverpool and Chelsea, the coaches do not have a say. Like in my opinion, they don't have a say. They are
Mm,
brought specific players, but this is the reason of having sporting directors. They are football people that understand the system you play and the style you want to play.
yeah.
They'll give you 5 or 6 players, maybe for a
Mm,
position. Here, pick one, or like let's decide on one. Someone that suits our wage structure, our age profile,
yeah.
The
and maybe like the
the
cost
the
of
era
the
of good
man.
signings started when they sold Coutinho for that much money. Thanks, Barca, aka Ziad.
I swear to God, that
Because
Coutinho
And by the
signing.
way,
that's what got Van Dijk
yo,
and Allison,
genuinely,
and that was the start.
yeah, and they have not missed from even before that. By the way, Firmino, Mane, Salah, Van Dijk, Allison, Gravenberg, McAllister,
Yeah.
Szoboszlai,
Get me back
Robertson
to
in the
the
same.
Downing
Robertson,
and Andy
Art.
Carroll
Like
era.
man, god damn, good old times. Roy Hodgson
Yeah.
was playing those
Yeah,
days.
if I look back, like I'm looking from 16, 17. You said Mane, Wijnaldum. Okay,
Yeah,
Karius was a bad
Wijnaldum.
signing, but it's for 6 million, whatever. They signed Van Dijk, Salah next window, Chamberlain, Robertson. Then they signed the next window, Allison, Keita. Yeah, you know what? He was kind of a flop. Fabinho, not a flop for sure. Shaqiri. Then they signed Minamino, but again, 8 million. Those, anything below 10 million doesn't count. They then signed Jota, Thiago, Simicas. Then they signed,
Yeah, like
yeah, Luis Diaz,
honestly,
Konate. Like,
they are one of the few clubs whose signings are consistent. I'm not saying every signing, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
their
yeah.
consistency is crazy. It's actually insane.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. The only big one is Nunes. Like that's a
Yeah,
bad one. And
apparently it was a Klopp one. Apparently it was a Klopp one. There was a whole article about it. How like their sporting director Michael Edwards or their CEO whatever he is. He ended up leaving after the signing of Nunes because he didn't agree with it. He wanted some Isaac, I think it was the other name, and Klopp really fought for Nunes to sign. And after that, this man left. And when Klopp announced he's leaving, Edwards came back this season for a slot. He
the
did it.
man, I
Yeah.
I remember I remember that Nunes clip where he got the ball on the left side in training. I don't know if you guys saw that when he hit the ball, he tried to curve it, and it went out to a goal kick.
No. God damn
No,
Nunes.
it's if you
Even in
see,
training,
it was
even
a
in low
horrible
pressure
trading clip.
moments.
And something about like sometimes, man, I'm not trying to say I know every player is like that, but sometimes you can see, I swear to God, one or two clips from a player, and you know they're
Yeah.
not that good. Sometimes, not always,
I
but
was
sometimes.
just I was just fooled by him because he cooked Liverpool in the Champions League home and away for Benfica.
Listen,
Do you remember
Benfica,
that?
no.
Him and Enzo were together. Wow, what a time
I
that
try to
was.
avoid those clips, yeah, just because they can sell your dreams. Yeah, because it could go either way. You could see a
Compilations.
compilation of two
Either way,
minutes.
yeah,
Oh my god, the best striker you ever see, and it could be less the worst one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, I felt like this episode was way longer than it is, but we're an hour in, an hour 2 minutes,
This therapy session is not
and yeah,
working.
that's pretty much it.
I'm heated again.
You have to go for real therapy. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. And the other games, Newcastle Nottingham Forest 4-3. That was pretty cool. United tying yesterday, 2-2. But I just feel like I don't know, man. Now I'm just looking for the
Listen,
Champions
one
League.
thing about the United game, Everton absolutely, in my opinion, got robbed from a penalty last second. There is
You
Yeah.
think?
no way that's not a penalty. He got tugged. You
Well,
could,
Ashley
he
an
could
idiot.
make a melee out of it, but
Exactly.
you could still. He got tugged by both defenders,
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, and he actually got tripped by I don't know who it was. He got tripped
There is
kind of.
no way you see
But the
VAR.
only reason I didn't,
You can't
yeah,
look at the
he flopped like a
because you
fish.
can't look at the player and just be like, oh, he has a history of diving. You have to look at the play itself.
Play
And like
itself, yeah,
you know when it
yeah,
went to VAR, I was like, there's no way they're gonna like, because it's not an obvious mistake.
yeah.
He got tugged from. You could see clearly in the video he got tugged from. I'm like, I do not know how they consider it an obvious mistake for them to change that. I was baffled.
Yeah.
The issue is like it's 100% a penalty. But this man Ashley Young, since the day I started watching football when he was a winger at Aston Villa, he has been diving the exact same way. Why do you follow him?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Why'd you flop like that?
He
And
always
that
does
shouldn't
that.
be the reason why you call it off, but these
Exactly.
refs are stupid, man. Like you said, Wasim, about this Lewis Skelly. Don't give these fucking referees a reason to even overturn anything or do something stupid, because these referees are
Because for
dumb.
me,
Even if they see the
I
million
hate the
replays.
idea of, oh, he should have not dove. So what if he stayed on his feet? Is that not a penalty?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I get both ways, and maybe he should have not dove. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna tell a player how to like fall on the ground. I'm like they could
Fall, yeah.
clearly see they both grabbed him. They both panicked because he's faster than both, and they just both grabbed him. Uh,
Yeah, and that's the argument I always have with like non-football fans. They say, "Oh, like football, they dive a lot." I'm like, but you don't know why? Because fucking referees don't call shit unless you fall on the
Un-
ground.
unless you fall, literally.
Yeah,
They encourage
sadly.
diving, man.
Yeah, yeah. But the only like diving I don't like is when like non-contact or some BS like that. But like if you're in a penalty, unfortunately these referees are so incompetent that you have to fall on the ground. That's the only way.
but yeah,
But
Emre,
yeah, I'm looking forward to Champions
yo,
League.
don't get me into Champions League.
Eminem.
Uh, uh,
Yeah, by the way, isn't it weird? Eminem keeps praising fucking Moise.
yo,
Like
Moyes continues to have
he's just I don't
more
know.
points than Amram has now 15 games and 15 points. I think this will never get
He
old.
was him keeping track of this. This shit's killing me.
These guys can't win
Yo,
games.
every week. Yeah, every
It's
week.
easy to track. They just don't win games.
But like Eminem, even though he just comes off weird in his press conferences. Like I get being
What do you
honest,
say
but he
about
was like,
Okay,
"Oh,
Moise?
Moise is doing better than me."
for me,
Like,
listen, I
okay,
don't know if it's maybe United fans can have a different opinion on it. He just is not likable. I, I just,
no, he's
Yeah.
just neutral to me. I don't know. He's just nothing.
he's just not like, I don't know, the way he talks about his players sometimes, the way he tries to like, I don't know, the way he just talks about even like we all know United's bad, but the way he just shits talks them. Oh, this is the worst United team it's ever.
Yeah,
I'm like I don't know, like you know what you're coming into. I don't know. Are you trying to get sympathy? Are you trying to like deflect? Oh, it's
yeah, I
not my
know, I
fault.
know.
I'm just like though, just the way he is. If he just for me, he's just not likable.
You know what he's
He's
trying to
weird.
do? Some managers try too hard to do like to have big like press conference moments. You know how players try to have compilations. These guys try to say, "Well, I think they try to have a big moment, like a big quote or something." And that's
Yeah.
what he tries too hard to do. Focus on the football. He's trying to be Mourinho. He's not.
Oh, you're not. And also, by the way, with the moments thing you're saying, also even when he's in the sideline, when he's looking down, dude, you look down for
Yeah,
15 seconds, you know the camera's gonna pan on you because you look
exactly.
depressed and you
He's
look
so
sad as
cringe,
fuck.
man.
Like, dude,
He's
no
so cringe.
shit. What do you think you're coming into? We all knew this club was almost unsavable. So put your fucking head up high and don't be like, oh, Moise is doing better than me. So
That's
that's not an
embarrassing.
argument. Yeah, he is doing better than you. Fucking coach better. Like, what are we talking about? That's what concerns me about Umar. You have no expectations on you right now. No one gives a shit, by the way. You could finish 10th, you could finish 15th, it's the same thing, and you're still not winning games. Like,
Imagine him in a high pressure moment because right now you're in Liverpool.
exactly.
There's nothing going on. You're not getting relegated.
Num
You're not
num.
gonna get.
He's under pressure to set the first game of the season
Yeah,
next
yeah,
season.
yeah.
First
It's
game,
musts.
immediately
Bro,
you're
Thing
under
is,
pressure,
honestly,
so
and
you're
especially
telling me.
Everton made a
biggest
miss in that
signings.
game too. Like it could have been a lot worse for that. I think they just went too defensive once they got like 2-0 late in the game. I think they got like a bit too comfortable. And like I'll give it like
Man,
and like the
nice.
second goal for me was just I think the players were tired. Like there should have been no reason why no Everton defender was able to close out Ugarte better. And Ugarte will not score that again, by the way. But
What a
like yeah, like the Everton players were just too slow to react. Uh, but again, Onana, did you see the second goal? Yo, what are you doing?
yes,
Yeah, man.
yes.
This guy is. I'm telling you, there's no good. There's barely any good keepers. This guy's a comedian. They got him to play off from the back, and he can't even like tie De Gea's
You can't.
laces. He is
Yeah, I
so
know.
bad.
That's what I was gonna say. You sell De Gea for this guy?
Some
Like,
people don't know
Listen,
what they wish
I
for.
was
It's like the
confused.
grass is greener on
yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
side. They wanted De Gea gone, and this
I
is
yeah.
what
was
they got.
confused the moment De Gea was. Yeah, I was confused the moment De Gea was being let go, and for Onana, by the way, we knew
Yeah.
Onana in Inter Milan. We knew Onana. I think I swear to you, man, Pep has too much control in this because this man just came out with one quote and said, "Wow, Onana split us multiple times. He can break lines just from kicking the ball up." So then Hog's like, "Oh my God, go sign
Yeah,
him." Like, what are you
yo, but I
doing?
swear he does that. With United have done that multiple times. They go
Yeah,
off
yeah,
Pep and City.
they panic.
No, no. Like I remember even when they were shit on De Gea back in the day. Of course, De Gea made mistakes, but yo, I'm like De Gea really saved you guys a lot. Like he saved them so many times from losing.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they won a league or two with Ferguson with De Gea.
He wasn't the problem clearly, and the team just let's see what happens. I'm excited to see if they keep him A, and then B if they do keep him, what happens next season, man? Because if you start off, first 5 games, you win one game, you lose the rest. Like Amram's under pressure, the boys under pressure, and then now the players are under pressure. So, and I'm guessing they're gonna give him new signings too.
It's going to be interesting next season. I think a lot of coaches are going to be under pressure. I think Arteta's under pressure to win something next season, but I think depending on how Chelsea finish this season and how like United, the managers themselves are going to be under pressure, because like if Chelsea could
Yeah.
have gotten top four, great. I think Maresca has no problem. But if you're sliding down the table and Bournemouth and Newcastle are picking up points and you end up seventh or eighth, he's gonna be from the first game next season gonna be under pressure. And Amorim's gonna be under pressure. I just don't think he's gonna even last December next year.
There's no next season for Maresca if we finish under. It should be top five, but if we finish the worse than last season, what happened?
Yeah, because like
Would you guys
I
finish
get
last
what-
because
season?
coaches next year,
I get
you
we have
already know
issues.
automatically the top the teams from the championship are gonna fire their coaches because that's like trademark.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like some of the top managers, I think outside of like Liverpool, and I seriously don't think Pep is under pressure whatsoever. So because like honestly, you earn your
No.
stay when you
No.
win 6 out of 7.
course,
Everyone,
of course.
there might be like a record in release the fired managers next year.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea finished sixth last season. So you're saying if they finish seventh, he should be gone.
100%. Because like I genuinely at this point, as shitty as it sounds, as fucking garbage as it is, I will take sixth with Maresca because there generally has been improvement up until like big collapse in terms
Yeah.
of having no strikers and Lavia
Injuries.
being out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will take sixth. Like that's the bare minimum. It's garbage. I just want Champions League, but we can't.
Yeah,
do
of
it that way.
course. Yeah,
Anything
like,
under that,
yeah.
unacceptable.
Yeah, yeah. But the only thing I wanted to say is that I remember like Wasim was talking about like actually let's just we'll cover next episode. This is too long. I'm done. I'm tired. My mouth
We
is
might
like
have to
my
preview
water.
next game. There's games on Tuesday and Wednesday.
It's tomorrow, by the way. Yeah,
Oh, the games are
No,
tomorrow?
there's a
No,
break
so we
tomorrow. Games on Tuesday. Well, Tuesday and Wednesday. There's midweek games. Do your fantasy, boys.
We'll do a podcast. We'll do. Oh, it's Premier
Yeah,
League,
yeah.
isn't it? Oh, Champions is not yet. Okay, okay. I mean, we could do a preview before, and then we have the Copa del Rey semifinal too.
Oh,
We could do
brother.
a prediction. It's
Uh,
Barcelona
I'm kidding.
Atletico.
I'm kidding.
Is it actually? Yo, that's a good one.
No,
So
that's
wait.
that's Tuesday.
No, but like we do it tomorrow, Yani.
Yeah, yeah, that's 12 o'clock. Yeah, it's 12:01.
we really are night grinders.
And Chelsea, yay, they get Southampton next game. A guaranteed win. They need that.
Ain't no guaranteed wins.
Yo, I would fire Maresca over this game if he loses.
Ain't no guaranteed wins. This is Chelsea football club.
But I'm done. I'm tired. My voice is gone. My water is done. So finito.
Talk about your
Thank you so much for watching. Check. No, no, no. I'm done. We won 2-0 Las Palmas, but I'm
I've had
done.
enough,
So
Robbie.
um, we'll talk about we'll preview the games tomorrow. We'll talk about the quarterfinals even for Serie A and the Premier League games. And yeah, we'll check you guys on next episode. And yeah, sorry, check us out on YouTube and Apple Music. Apple Music. I don't know what I'm
This
saying. Yo,
man
peace.
wants to
We're done.
end
We're
the
done.
episode.
We're done.